If I want to use it in, let's say, some Google Slides, there's a really nice way you can integrate between Google Sheets and Google Slides or Google Docs simply through this copy option. So I clicked on the three dots and I'm going to choose copy chart. Now I'm going to create a new slideshow through slides.new. I'm just typing that into an address bar, clicking enter, and a new slideshow is created for me. I'm going to go ahead and add a new slide in here. We'll just choose an empty one for now. And I'm going to use right click and choose paste. And I get this little pop-up to choose whether I want to link this chart to my spreadsheet so that if I modify my chart in the spreadsheet, I can update it here. Or I can just place a static image of it. Whatever my chart looks like today, it'll stay like that. I'm going to use the link option just so you can see how this works. I'll click paste and it pastes in my chart with this little link up in the top corner here, and I'll see a little update button here anytime there's a change I need to bring in. So now that I've added that in there, I can kind of structure it how I want, and at this point I want to jump over and take a look at the good practices in charts. So when you're using data in a report, there are some things that you need to include always, and that would include these level 1 options. The title, always. When it was produced and what department produced it. The source, where the data came from. Make sure the chart uses shared approved terminology. Labels, like we talked about, for any headers or axes, data in the chart, and if it's in a report with pages, then you want to make sure you have page numbers on that. So let's take a look at all those points there. So we added a title in the Google Sheet already. So the next elements here of the date, the office preparing it, and the source, we're going to have to add in this slide here. So I'm going to go up to this text box option here, and I'm going to start my cursor right in the bottom of the chart and drag it across and create a text box the size of the chart basically. And I'm going to make a note about the source. So I'm going to say source colon, and I'm going to mention that this is from Stony Brook University Institutional Research Planning and Effectiveness. And then I'm going to go to the page I got that report from, paste that link in there. And I wrote enrollment data. We also need to include the office preparing it and the date produced. So I will say prepared by Do It, training and development, and the date. Alright, so right now my source box there is fallen off a little bit. So there is a trick here. If I click to the left of this text box, I can choose that I want to shrink the text on overflow. And if I just resize this a little bit so that it fits on my page, then I have my source notes there. And that's common for these to be a little bit smaller. It's not the highlight of the chart. We just want it there for reference if people want to know where this came from. Okay, so we have the shared terminology. So the last item we need to make sure we include here is the page numbers. So in Google Slides, we will go to the Insert menu, and at the bottom here is an option for slide numbers. So I can add that in, and then I can choose that I want them on or off. I want them on, and whether to skip the title slides. Choose those as you want, and make sure to say apply so it ends up on all pages, and I have a little page number 2 on that page. And when I add anything else in here, if I add another chart on another page, that would automatically have the page numbers as well. So let me show how to do that in Google Docs. So we'll do docs.new, copy my chart, paste in my chart. Just like in a slide, I can do linked or unlinked. I'll do unlinked on this one. And for this one, I am just going to copy out the source I put below it. And for page numbers here, when I go to insert and the page numbers, I have options of where I want those page numbers to appear and whether or not it'll be on the first page. I will just go ahead and select the option to have page numbers in the bottom right of all the pages. And I will see my footer with the page number included there. And let me just show what happens if I make a change here. Just going to add in the timeline here from fall to I click off that and I go back to my slide that I inserted linked. I'll see the update button here, and I can click on that to get the newest version of my chart added in here. Just make sure my source is still visible there and everything's up to date, and I'm good to go with this.